This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Outdoor Pro Shop, LLC. Outdoor Pro Shop is a family-owned and operated firearms dealer and sporting goods retailer. They have pay-over-time options, a rewards program, and customer service satisfaction that is unmatched. They might not be the biggest, but they strive to be the best. Contact them today at 240-360-1298 or visit them on the web at www.outdoor-pro-shop.com. That's Outdoor Pro Shop, 240-360-1298. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls. I've got Dave Young here on production, and we got Dan Hall back in. Dan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Mike. Glad to be back. I was pretty busy there last week with work stuff, so I couldn't make it. But I got here today.
You're not actually in the studio, but you're back on the call with us, so we appreciate you coming in this evening.
Oh, yeah.
We've got special guest Bubba Holt. He is the Director of Training and Standardization with Project Healing Waters. I thought I was going to, do pretty bad with the pronouncing of that, pronunciation.
I did too.
But I did pretty good. So, not too long ago, we had Bubba as a guest up at the Greenbrier when we was there for the Wild and Wonderful Hunting, Fishing, and Conservation Expo Media Days. So while we were there, we kind of done a little snapshot of a full episode, which is happening tonight. So he kind of gave us a look into what the mission was for Project Healing Waters, but now we're going to go into a little more detail. So without further ado, Bubba Holt, how you doing, sir?
Oh, good. Thank you all for the time. This is awesome.
Yes, sir. We're glad to have you, man. I know we've been trying to work this out for a while.
Oh, we're stoked to be here and be able to promote the mission, and really awesome getting to meet you guys and hang out at Media Day. That was a blast, wasn't it? Oh my.
Yes, man, what a blast.
Great time.
We had an awesome time. So basically, just to get things started, tell us a little bit about, how Project Healing Waters got started.
Oh, well, if that's okay, I'd like to start with the mission statement.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Go ahead.
All right, awesome. Project Healing Waters Fly Fishing is dedicated to the physical and emotional rehabilitation of disabled active military service personnel and disabled veterans through fly fishing and associated activities, including education and outings. So we teach the whole gamut of the sport, everything from how to tie your flies to how to build your rods to how to cast to how to read water. We first started in 2005 at the Walter Reed Medical Center in D.C. Ed Nicholson's our founder, and in 2007 was when we were actually incorporated in the state of Maryland. We've been a 501c3 since 2007. Prior to that, we were a committee of Trout Unlimited. So we got our start in Trout Unlimited and then became our own nonprofit in 2007. Currently, we have about 200 programs across the country serving almost 7,000 participants within our programs.
Wow, that's crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah, we have 8 right here in West Virginia.
Yeah, that was
from West Virginia.
That was one of the things that we were going to discuss is how many chapters and where are all the chapters here in West Virginia?
So in West Virginia, we have a program in Wheeling, Morgantown, Clarksburg, Parkersburg, Huntington, Charleston, Beckley, and Lewisburg. So out of those 8 programs, we have roughly 300 participants within the state, people that come on a regular basis, right? And then we have about 150 volunteers. And out of the 100, we got about 30 that volunteer on a regular, and we got another 100, 120 that are just there to take folks fishing from time to time. So we've got quite a few folks in the program already, but we're always looking to grow. There's 9 million veterans in the VA system, and we serve roughly 7,000 in the country. I know fly fishing's a small niche in the overall grand scheme of things in outdoor sports, but we got a lot of hillbillies out there that could use some more healing. I'll tell you that. We're always looking for more participants in our programs, and it's all free to them.
Oh, awesome!
It doesn't cost anything for the disabled veteran in our programs.
So nothing that they do with you all is cost. They have to pay for.
No, not a dime. If they use, like, say we go on an outing and they want to get reimbursed for their fuel, we reimburse the fuel. When we go to build rods, we have corporate partnerships and grants that help pay for the supplies and the materials to build those rods. Same thing with fly tying, but we're dependent upon corporate and individual donations in our organization. It's kind of how we run. But yeah, the participant doesn't have to spend anything if they don't want.
Wow, that's awesome, man. So, give us a little more in-depth history behind Project Healing Waters.
Well, our founder, Ed, he's told this story a couple of times. It's a pretty cool story. He was undergoing treatment. He was a captain in the Navy and was undergoing treatment at Walter Reed, and walked by an individual, obviously needed some help, took the veteran out back, taught him how to cast a fly. And then next thing you know, more people started coming at his weekly doctor's appointments. More people started showing up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Realized that there was a need for it, and that's when they formed the organization. If you look at Project Healing Waters and would overlay it on a map of westward expansion from, like 1850 when they were looking for gold, it looks almost the same. We started on the East Coast. We've expanded westward, but we have 200 programs in 48 states. The only states we don't operate in are Louisiana and Hawaii. And I would love to start a program in Hawaii. I mean, y'all want to go help me promote it, that'd be awesome, right? But Louisiana, that's the only other one we had a program in until COVID hit. So we're still trying to get back to where we're nationwide in all 50 states. But when we started, the main premise was just casting and then fishing in a pond. The education portion of it, which is something we try to promote the most, because that's where a lot of the healing comes from, is it's that one-on-one time with the instructor, sitting down and putting thread around the hook, or taking the guides on a fly rod and marking how they're going to lay on that blank before you epoxy them in, That's where we see a lot of our healing, and the culmination of the education that the participants learn from, let's say, the fall through the winter when you can't really do a lot of fly fishing. You can cast on frozen lakes and go towards a 6-inch hole, but it's a lot easier to fly fish in the spring and the summer in West Virginia. Less frozen water.
Yeah.
But we, so the culmination of this, taking them fishing. And then you want to see some magic happen. That's when you need to be on the water with us, for real. There's stories that come out of this that would blow your guys' mind away.
I guarantee it.
Participants been through, and then you watch the recovery, and we've seen participants come in that were homeless,
right?
And now they credit the program quite often. Now they have a home of their own. It's where their wife lives with them. They have a job. They make, they become a complete 180 as part of their healing journey. We got to be a part of that. So it's pretty awesome to watch. And those stories that come about during our program meetings or the fishing outings, that's what makes it all worthwhile. So
yeah, absolutely. That's great. I know, talking about that, you guys mentioned me getting into doing it, being a veteran, but I still haven't filled out the paperwork or nothing, but I will. I'll get there. Just getting out of town working right now, so I have to get back into it.
We'd love to have you join us. Free to you guys, and it's easy to sign up. It's online registration. You just reach out to Project Healing Waters, and then you go on online registration, sign up as a volunteer water participant. So both of them,
right?
PHW is really, really big on trying to make things streamlined, easy and as efficient as possible.
Right. Yeah. It looked easy. I'd looked at it. I just never finished filling it out. But so what exactly is your role within the organization here in West Virginia?
Well, actually, before the current role I'm in now, I was just a volunteer leader.
Okay.
So I was the regional coordinator in West Virginia. Terry Keenan is the RC now, that kind of oversees the 8 programs. Each program has a program lead that organizes local activities. The RC takes care of things on a regional level, like regional events, making sure people have their goods that they need to put on implement programs. My current role with the organization, I hired on in December as the Director of Training and Standardization. And in that role, we're trying to revamp the entirety of how we train our volunteer base to work with our participants. So we have an online learning library within our system that we use to keep track of attendance rates and our waivers and like the online form you talked about. Yeah, that's where we keep all that information. But we also have an online learning library. If you was to go to Wervis.com and look at their fly fishing education, anybody can do it. You can get a certificate at the end of their little course. We have something very similar in Project Healing Waters that we're trying to work on.
Oh, nice.
A lot of that information with them. So there's when you work with disabled veterans, there's certain things that you need to be aware of, cognizant of how to present the material, certain ways that you don't want to stand behind one of these guys or gals if they don't know you, right? That makes them feel uncomfortable.
And I understand where you're coming from with that for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Little tips and techniques like that. So that's kind of what I'm over, and my role in the organization is to promote that. But I'm also here to just help promote the organization as a whole. We do some amazing work, and I'd love to tell y'all a story that come out of our Thornwood trip sometime if you got time for it.
Oh yeah, I'd listen for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. That takes us right into our next talking point. I mean, so you all have had some major, trips here in West Virginia, a lot of fishing trips, and one of your biggest fishing trips here in the state every year is the Thornwood event in Pocahontas County.
Yes, sir. Beautiful Pocahontas County, birthplace of rivers.
Yeah.
8 rivers headwaters. So I love that area of the state. It has so much to offer, just like the area around the Greenbrier. But this past, the first weekend of June, we had our Thornwood event where we bring in participants from all over the state as well as neighboring states.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So we had, I think there were 8 different states represented this year at that particular event between the volunteers and the participants. We had roughly 135 folks in attendance, with roughly 65 of them were the disabled veteran participants in our programs, and the other half were volunteers, of course. But we fished. If you took a pin and you put a pin right on the 4-H camp, Pocahontas 4-H camp there off the East Fork of the Greenbrier River, and you attached a string to it and made a radius about 45 minutes around that pin, just drew a big circle. Look at all the streams and creeks and stuff that we fish in that radius. It's tremendous.
Yeah.
That's why we love that location, because
yeah,
you get there's options.
How long is that event?
We start on Thursday evening and we end Sunday afternoon. So folks come in throughout the weekend. There's presentations going on from casting competition champions to acclaimed fly tires to biologists actually come in and talk about entomology, the benthic macroinvertebrates in the streams. They show bugs basically to all the participants. In between all that, the folks get to do a little fishing, and then we feed them really well. So I always found I'm a fat guy. So yeah, I always figured out the fishing wasn't very good, but if I could get a full belly, it's going to be a good time. Right?
There you go.
Oh yeah.
You always got to have good food. Food brings people together, man.
Oh, it does. It does. Food brings people together almost as good as those healing waters, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And that's what that entire trip is set up for. It's just camaraderie and togetherness. It's a way for participants in our programs to actually get comfortable again in group settings also.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of therapy in everything that we do, trying to get them to come out of their shell or get back into the normal society life, or just, hey, we're here for you, talk to us, whatever you need, let's go fishing. That's what we do. But that event is rather large. Then we also do a muskie tournament in West Virginia. We do the Greenbrier Fly Fishing Classic is usually the second or third weekend in May. We had it this year down there outside of Lewisburg, right on the Greenbrier River. A great group of guys puts that tournament on for us. George Sims, the young Sims X on there in Lewisburg, and Mike Tincher, and all those guys. They put on a heck of a tournament. We base it out of the youth camp in Anthony, West Virginia. So we try to utilize as much of the state as possible. That muskie tournament, it's the Eric Workman Memorial Muskie Tournament. It's across the entirety of the state of West Virginia. So right there, you got a trout fishing trip, a smallmouth fishing trip, and a muskie fishing trip for the participants is how we look at it. So gets multiple species on the fly in the same year.
That's great. Yeah, it's a phenomenal program. Just, getting it on the site there and just reading the stuff you guys have. It's awesome.
Well, thanks, man. We have a great time at Thornwood event. Let me tell you a story. We had a participant that was in a wheelchair at that event. He's there every year. A couple of years ago, there was another participant that actually one of the first years we had Thornwood, which was 2016, is when this story happened. We were pairing participants up because we pair them up with volunteers for the weekend to go fishing, right?
Sure.
One of the participants was an amputee from mid-thigh down, and the other one, and of course you got another participant in a wheelchair. I paired them together with a couple volunteers, announced their names Saturday morning before everybody goes fishing. And the next thing you know, one guy stands up and says, "Buddy, is that really you?" "Yeah, it is." Walked over and bent over and gave the participant in the wheelchair a big hug. They started crying, and we're all trying to figure out what's going on. They had both served together 13 years prior.
Wow.
Both got in the same IED blast. They lived 2 hours apart and hadn't seen each other in over 13 years.
Man.
And the first time they saw each other was at that event.
Jeez.
Oh, my God.
That's awesome.
Waterworks, man. Wow. That is, to be there and feel that, you want to talk about some healing.
Yeah, no doubt. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty awesome. Last year we had a guy in the muskie tournament land his first ever muskie and landed it on a fly rod.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
Right?
God, I bet that took a while to get in.
Could you imagine? I mean,
I can't.
I went from catching 6-inch brook trout to a 40-inch muskie.
Yeah.
Like, overnight.
Bro,
Oh, my God.
Wasn't something I would recommend, but if it happens, it happens. You're on for a bite.
Man, that stuff is so much fun. It'll make you want to take back stuff you didn't even steal, boys. I'm telling you. That's nothing more fun than watching a muskie come up and eat a fly.
Oh,
or a bait or whatever you want to use. But we get it in smaller bites with trout, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We can get them guys and gals on a muskie at some point. Whoo! You want to talk about a knee knocker. Their knees start wobbling back and forth. Oh,
Man.
it's
I
awesome.
think I'd be hooked. Literally, like, that would just be an amazing accomplishment. Catch one on the freaking fly rod.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we would love to have you guys come hang out with us sometime if y'all would be interested in coming checking out Thornwood next year. Turkey season's over when it happens.
Yeah.
So should be good to go there.
Yeah, but, that'd be great. I mean, we could even do a live podcast from there when you have all the guys there one night or something, around the fire. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
We do it around the fire too. So
yeah.
That event, it's like a camping trip with your buddies.
Yeah.
Basically. But you're fishing, you're getting some education. That's kind of how we set it up. And we've got a great group of guys that help set up that event as well as other two events in West Virginia. We got great volunteers all over the country. It's amazing. Over 6,000, almost 7,000 participants, and the number of volunteers in 3,000, 4,000 or something across the country. It's a lot of folks. We're mostly a volunteer-driven organization.
Yeah.
All the folks in our organization, it's volunteer all the way. Volunteer leadership. We only have a handful of paid staff, so it's awesome to watch it all come together.
Yeah,
appreciate all the help.
One of the things that we talked about while we was there at the Greenbrier was, how many people you all do have on staff, but we also talked about the programs here in West Virginia, and that's one of the biggest parts of it's like one of the biggest chapters in the whole organization, isn't it?
Oh, well, number-wise, I'm going to say no. Okay, we've got programs out west that have 350 participants in Denver.
Okay.
And in Colorado Springs, there's 300 participants in that program. But we do a lot of healing here in West Virginia. We try to incorporate all the surrounding states right here because we're so close. We're close to D.C.
Yeah.
You're looking at Columbus, Cleveland. I mean, there's big cities all around us, and not many of them get to partake in a trip to the mountains. So
for sure,
that's where I think West Virginia really shines.
Yeah,
in my opinion, the opportunities that the state provides to not only the anglers but the hunters. My gosh, how many hundreds of thousands of acres are there in the Mon National Forest?
Yep.
How many hundreds of trout streams are there in the state of West Virginia?
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a pile.
Right. I don't think you can say that in Ohio. You can
I
say
know where you say that because I ain't found a trout stream out here yet in Missouri.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bennett Springs. Check out Bennett Springs, man. Seriously.
I don't know if I'm close to it. I will look into that though.
Yeah, it's this huge spring head. The hole of water coming out of the ground is probably big around as somebody's house. Hundreds of thousands of gallons of water pour out of that thing daily.
Really?
And, they got a trout stream runs right through a state park. That's actually where we're having our national casting competition, in which we just completed the regional competition in West Virginia the first weekend of June. And the organization will pick we have 19 geographical regions. So we split up the country into 4 parts, and we send a participant from every region. West Virginia is its own region. To the nationals, so they're going to compete at the Bennett Springs State Park this year.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So if you're there, it's a good fishery. The home of the jet boats in Missouri, even though we use them a lot in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Yep. So going back to the fishing in West Virginia, everybody always talks about the trout fishing. A lot of people don't really realize how good the smallmouth fishing is in our state.
Yeah.
And doing that. Oh my!
Yeah, we were just talking about that on our last episode with 3B Outdoors. They did a New River fishing trip there, and they was catching a bunch of smallies.
Oh yeah, you guys get into that quite a bit.
I don't. I'm primarily largemouth and trout.
That's me.
That's basically what I do. I don't get into many areas that have smallmouth. I'd like to. I heard they're a blast to catch.
Well, I'm supposed to go up to the Potomac this weekend and do some smallie fishing on kayaks. And
yeah, you'll get a chance to get a hold of some good ones up there.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Oh, good luck up there on the Potomac, man. Those rocks, the way have you seen that shelf rock the way it is on those drainages up there?
No.
Oh,
yeah,
it's like Seneca rocks almost sticking up at the bottom of the river.
Yeah, that's what I told him. Tell him about what part you're going in there at Franklin.
Yeah, we're going in Franklin. It's a little bit northeast of like where Green Bank is. I'm not. It's kind of like in the start of the Eastern Panhandle over there. I can't remember which branch it is. I always get it like mixed up, but I think it's the south branch of the south branch of the north. I don't know something. It's the south something of the north something. Yeah.
Not the North Fork of the South Branch, because that comes out of the holler at off of 28 coming over Allegheny Mountain.
Yeah.
So
you're right. It's the South Fork of the North Branch. That's what it is, I think.
Oh, okay. I got you.
South Branch.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay.
So small. You might get into some trout over there as well. Now there's more gravel in that section than what I was thinking. Potomac section down around Harper's Ferry or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there's plenty of good fishing in that area too. We do have some trips over there. Matter of fact, our Virginia brothers and sisters often travel to West Virginia. Quite a few of their programs travel to West Virginia and stay at either the Greenbrier or Harmon's Cabins or Elk Springs Resort in West Virginia to do some trout fishing. So that Potomac drainage is utilized by quite a few programs in Virginia.
Yeah. So one of the recent big trips that you all done was to the Cove there on Ward Burton Wildlife Foundation property, and that's a place that they use to take veterans for different events. Tell us a little bit about that trip.
Oh, you want to talk about an awesome person to get to know and meet and hang out with? Ward Burton. I put on the list. Oh my. That man is in it just to do good, in my opinion. He don't care about he's not in it for the acclaim and the recognition and stuff. You know what I mean? He's just a down-home good person. Give you an example. We go spend time on his property at the Cove, the historical Cove. It's a big bend in the Stanton River.
Yeah.
In between, upstream of Bugs Island Lake, Curve Lake. We went there with the intent of chasing stripers because of the striper run going out of Bugs Island. And Ward and his crew also have ponds on that property that contain hybrid stripers. I'm talking about a guy that made the fire and hung out by the campfire with us every day we was there in the evening. His wife prepared the meals for us.
Wow.
Oh yeah. At one point, I called him taking out the trash, and I'm like, "Ward, we can take the trash out, buddy. You don't have to do everything for us." No, it's my honor. Get an opportunity to link up with the Wartburg Wildlife Foundation and get to sharing experiences with them. Like, not only did we have the trip to the Cove, but we just did a trip to Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Wartburg gave us opportunity to take some participants over there, sit in the box. His son Jeb put our logo on the hood of his car.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was stoked. You know,
That's awesome.
I think he got 12th place in that race. So race pretty good. And then might have been higher up than that. But getting to hang out with Ward and hear some of his stories, but then Ward getting to see some of the healing, to me, that was the, in my personal opinion, the best part of it was
Out.
because it was like a newborn baby with a fresh set of eyes. You know, when somebody, I love seeing that light turn on. It's kind of like that first time somebody hits that turkey call and has a gobbler hammer back on, the light comes on. It's the same thing. They see a healing, that light comes on. Oh, I get it now. The property is gorgeous. The homes that were on it were amazing, nice, clean. I mean, just the one cabin was made out of wormy chestnut.
Oh,
Log cabins. Oh,
that's nuts.
oh yeah, it was nice. The food was great. Again, I'm a fat boy, like to eat. Food was wonderful.
Yeah, I think we're all fat boys. And love to eat.
That's right.
I'm a biscuits and gravy all day kind of guy.
Yeah. You know, I love biscuits, but man, I had to start limiting myself because I eat too many of those Tudor's biscuits.
Oh man, I'm telling you.
I tell you. Yeah. So they also offered us the opportunity to take some folks down to Daytona.
Yeah.
And hang out with them in the box at Daytona, and we're really looking forward to that.
Oh
Man, that'd be something.
So that's the next event that you all got coming up, but you all had one at Charlotte Motor Speedway, correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes, we're just talking on, Mike. Get your head out of the gutters there.
Oh, sorry, but I was over there trying to rehook the camera. I didn't hear it, so.
Fair enough.
That's yeah, we got that coming up in Daytona. We want to have some participants from Florida, so our program's in Florida. We want to have some vets there hanging out with Ward and Jeb and some other folks in the box. Pretty awesome, but they also get a fish. I didn't know if y'all were aware, but I think it's a 23-acre lake that's at Daytona Motor Speedway.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, right in the middle. That's
Yeah.
actually where they got the dirt for the banks on the curves.
Well, I mean, I knew they had like a pond there, but I didn't figure it was that big.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that big. I didn't know you could fish it.
Wow.
Well, that's what we're hoping on now is NASCAR gives us the okay to fish the pond. It's got that.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome, right? He's sitting there at Daytona casting.
Oh my
bass
gosh.
While Jed Burton went around you at 200 mile an hour.
Yes, it would.
That'd be
It's
great.
much cooler than that.
Yeah.
Just watch that back cast because they ain't got no brakes.
Yeah.
Put it on
kidding.
a 14 weight and see the fight of your life. You know.
Dang. Yeah, it was pretty cool to go to the Speedway and see like the history of it, how it started on the beach. You know, the race, the Daytona 500 actually started on the beach there and stuff. I don't know, it's pretty cool. Just see all that.
Yeah, you mentioned that when we had Ward on because your dad's a big fan, right?
Yeah, and Ward had won the 500, and his car, you know, they keep your car for a year, so his car was at the raceway, so we got to take pictures with it and stuff. It was kind of cool.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
2002 was
Yep.
when he won Daytona 500.
Yep.
Yeah. That was I remember that race. We used to watch a lot of racing growing up too.
Yeah, I did too.
Oh yeah, it was a big sport. I loved watching Ward because he'd check somebody just as much as Dale Earnhardt would.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah, we talked. We had a little conversation about that at the Greenbrier while we was there. That was fun, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it was good just getting everybody together like that, and
yeah.
the people that you meet in this industry, it's amazing.
Dude,
you know,
it's so cool. Met some awesome people.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Got to meet you guys at the Greenbrier. How big of an opportunity was that for everybody involved? Media Day at the Greenbrier.
Yeah.
Wild and Wonderful Sport Expo opportunity coming up in September.
Yeah.
It's the Greenbrier. It's not like it's Bubba's Roadkill Cafe on the side of the road. You know, no, this is
Hey, fan, is it?
so. Putting that together for everybody, getting a chance to meet Ward, getting a chance to meet you guys.
Yeah.
It just offers up so many opportunities for networking, and at the end of the day for us, and what I like to view everything that we do, I want to make sure it has a positive impact on the participants in our programs.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's how we try to go through everyday life. Is this decision, is this action going to have a positive impact? And I tell you, the Greenbrier has had a tremendous impact on disabled veterans in the state of West Virginia and beyond.
Yes.
And definitely want to give them a shout out, because the amount of stuff that they've donated over the last couple of years just in float trips or guided fishing right there on the property, well, we wouldn't be able to have the program in Lewisburg and the state without them.
Well, you know, there's no price that you can pay for that healing that you give those veterans, and taking the struggles away from their mind. You know, the mind is a battlefield like you wouldn't believe, and it helps them deal with those things that they battle every day, you know?
Right, in all aspects. Yeah, we tie flies. Well, I got bad hands, I can't tie flies. Well, you can read about the bugs that we're tying the flies about.
Yeah.
Your eyes are still working.
Yep.
You can learn every day. If you have a hard time, we've taught folks with no hands how to cast a fly rod.
Wow.
Blind veterans catching fish on dry flies.
That's crazy.
Just by hearing the sound of the fish slop the fly. All right. You'd be amazed at some of the heart that these vets, some of these, we got one that's paralyzed from the waist down, and he is such a tank that he gets out of the chair. He will belly crawl to the stream side if he has to.
Man.
If his chair can't get there, he's elbow over elbow crawling to the river. Jeez. All he asks is that you hold on to his rod until he gets there. And then he'll start. I mean,
that's amazing.
The heart and soul of these folks is unbelievable. You know, it saved my life working with them. Man, I'll just tell them, I like to tell you that story. I don't want to really get into a lot of deep stuff, but I was paralyzed in a car wreck from the neck down.
Oh my God.
And learned to walk. And somebody from Healing Waters called my wife every day. It happened in 2013. Up to that point, I just helped them on a couple fishing outings and had a couple presentations on bugs in West Virginia. Mm-hmm. But somebody from the organization called me or my wife every day during my recovery. And that had a tremendous impact on me and showed that the organization really cares, you know?
Yeah, something.
I'm just a no-name podunk hillbilly from odd West Virginia named Bubba. Who am I, right? But somebody contacted us every day. So, wow. And I'm not even a veteran.
Right.
It gave me hope, gave me something to do, and that's what we try to do with our participants. Give them something to do. Keep their hands busy so their mind can't wander for the most part. And if they don't have any hands, let's keep their head busy. All right? We can still get them on the water.
Yeah.
But anybody can fly fish. I don't care who you are. There's not an excuse for anybody out there. You want to learn how to fly fish? There's a lot of, we call them Hill William innovations, redneck ingenuity, right? We can put about anybody on the water. There's adaptive devices that we can use.
Yeah.
There's ideas. Sometimes all it takes is a strap around your forearm. Mm-hmm. That's it. You know, so something as simple as that can put somebody on the water. It's adaptive techniques or something. But I really appreciate the time that you guys have given us today to talk about the organization and what we do. And if there's anything that we could do to help y'all out, let me know. But just being able to talk about the vets in our programs means a lot. And hopefully somebody can hear this. If they know somebody that's a disabled veteran, just reach out to us, give us a holler.
Yeah.
Because we have programs all over the country. Even if you're not from West Virginia, Alaska, anywhere else, give us a holler. We'll put you in connection with the local program near you.
Yeah, and that's what we love about it so much. We care about our veterans. Dan Hall, he's a veteran himself, and that's one of the things that we want to highlight on our show is America. And the price of freedom is not free. So
nope, it's not. Which that'll roll us right into our salute to valor for this evening, Michael.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
You. So tonight our salute to valor is going to go out to Brian Luce from Sydney, New York. He was a major that served 15 years in the United States Air Force. He is currently retired now. He was stationed at Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota, Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland, Fort Ruckers, Alabama. He was in Columbus, Mississippi, Kirtland, New Mexico, MC Air Station in New River, North Carolina, Hurlburt Field in Florida, and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. He completed 1 tour to Iraq, 3 to Afghanistan, and 1 to Africa.
Oh, my gosh.
He was awarded Meritorious Service Medal, Air Medal, Aerial Achievement Medal, Air Force Commendation Medal, Air Force Achievement Medal, Expert Marksmanship Badge and Pistol and Rifle, Iraqi Campaign Badge, Afghanistan Campaign Badge. Wow, I can't speak. And the NATO Medal. He retired in December of 2015. Brian, we really appreciate your service, sir. And it sounds like you was bounced all over the country and different stations and the world, having 5 tours completed in your tenure there. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. 3 tours to Afghanistan alone. I mean, that right there that's a war zone, big time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, thank you, Brian, for your service to our great country, and God bless you, sir.
Yeah, God bless you, man.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes, sir. Well, let's get back into some talking about Project Healing Waters. So there, before we started, we were just going over some talking points and things, and you were talking about one of your all's biggest missions, or one of the biggest things that goes along with your all's mission is the classes and the teaching of the fly tying and reading the water and stuff like that. That alone, without being on the water, helps veterans struggle with things like you're talking about. If you can't tie flies, then you can read about it. So hit on a little bit of them classes, when those are offered and where.
Oh, sure, no problem. So each local program will meet on a Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday evening. Depending on the program that you're looking at, the best way to figure it out is just reach out to us, and then we put you with the local program. But there's various meeting places. We have a program that meets at American Legion. We've got another program that meets in a barn. The Parkersburg program meets in a barn.
Oh, awesome.
But it's the most awesome barn you've ever seen. Concrete floors. It's immaculate inside. They use it as a community building. But the education that we offer in all those local programs, we do it on a weekly, bi-weekly basis. Like I said earlier, fishing is just icing on the cake. So at these meetings, starting in each program in West Virginia on a weekly basis anyway, we'll start you off with very basic techniques, usually in the fall time, going into the winter. So we're still fishing in the fall. Not as much, but we're fishing as much as possible. Once, let's say, November hits, so November through the end of April, every other week you're either going to learn how to tie a different type of fly pattern, or you're going to be building a fly rod. So the winter time is usually when we do those indoor type activities. It's hard to tie outside when we're going 20 mile an hour, because then all your deer hair goes everywhere. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the rod building, there's tools and equipment that we need to use indoors. Got to keep the epoxy from the elements. So you start building the rod. And then hopefully by the time spring comes around, you're able to use the rod. After 5 meetings, your rod should be completed.
Mm-hmm.
So then come springtime, when you get to go fishing, you've done learned how to tie some flies. You've built your own rod. Now let's teach you how to tie some knots, get you out somewhere casting that new rod that you just built, and then get you on the water later in the spring to try to catch you a fish, whether it's stillwater fishing with a bluegill, which is an overlooked aspect of the sport, or on a wild trout stream in Pocahontas County, West Virginia. That's kind of the rotation that we take throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
Once the fishing season comes in, we still have meetings, but they're more focused on what can we do to catch more fish instead of
Yeah.
not a bunch of flies like you do in the wintertime. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Some programs across the country, though, they really enjoy that fly tying segment of it. They've gotten so large that they'll have 4 or 5 fly tying classes a week, just because there's so many folks in their program.
Yeah. Man, that's one thing I enjoyed while we was there at the Greenbrier. I had never tied flies before, so I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, it's very soothing and calming, isn't it?
It sure is. Yeah, and like that's what I was saying.
It can be aggravating too, though.
Yeah, it can.
It can be. I mean, it can be aggravating, but the part of the intent and purpose in our programs is to learn to work through the aggravation to come to a good outcome, a good conclusion, right?
Yeah.
So you get through the aggravation of trying to get the hardest part for most people to learn to start out with is getting the thread on the hook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's once they get that and they feel out the pressure and the tension, they're pretty good from there on out. But it's difficult to add materials sometime, and then you take a participant that's missing a hand. Now let's tie flies with one hand. How do we do that? Well, we have a device called the Evergreen Hand.
Oh wow!
And it's literally a metal plate that sits behind the vise, and every tool that you have has a magnet on it. And you just make a turn with your bobbin, pluck the magnet on that metal plate. That allows the participant with one hand to reach down and grab materials, put it in an alligator clip easily. The alligator clip has a magnet on it. Bam, goes on the plate. You take your thread and you tie it. So,
man, that's
awesome. Yeah, it is.
Check that out, the Evergreen Hand. It's a pretty cool little tool. Wasn't invented by us, but we utilize it quite a bit. And then the casting braces that we have a couple different casting braces to work with folks that are either amputees from elbow down, or just maybe they're missing a hand, get attached to the forearm portion of your arm.
Yeah.
We also utilize a Rex Fly system, right? So the Rex Fly is pretty cool. It's a chest mounted device. You slide your rod and reel in it. It'll hold your rod and reel for you. You can fight the fish and everything with your chest without even touching the rod. Yeah. So we learn about our participants through that wintertime, and we get to learn our participants and what we need to use in our programs to try to help them succeed on the water.
Yeah.
And in life. And that's where we go back and do the research and the learning. That's kind of where I come in with training and standardization. Hey, what techniques can we use to better benefit the participants in our programs, depending on their needs. And every participant has a different need.
I had a guy ask me one time, he said, what exactly have you learned from hunting? I told him, I said, I love hunting and fishing and, being in the outdoors. I said, it's taught me a lot over the years, growing up from a kid into the outdoor industry and outdoors and hunting and fishing. And, he couldn't grasp it. He couldn't grasp what you learn from those things. I mean, you learn patience most of all. Patience is one of the biggest things I've learned. But, you learn all kinds of life lessons like what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Being in the outdoors, a lot of lessons learned from myself as well, Michael. I think all of us on this call could probably say that, right? It made us who we are.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just what it's done. So,
getting back to tying flies, one thing that made it less aggravating was that deer tenderloin that Hunt Chef had made up for us that he was handing out.
Man, that was good.
I'll tell you what, when he brought that around, my hands left the tie flying and went straight to the meat.
Yeah.
Of course, they go straight to that, Michael.
Yep. That's what Bubba said. We're all fat boys. We love to eat.
That's right.
But I'll tell you what, when I took my first bite of that tenderloin, I was in heaven. At that point, take me now.
Buddy, I'm telling you, it didn't taste like deer tenderloin.
I didn't think it was deer. I got to be honest. I thought it was really high quality beef. Is what I thought it was.
I did too.
I was like, "This is deer. This is better than."
And those were cooked on those Brio grills.
Yeah,
that 95% smokeless grill. That you can set right on your deck.
Yeah,
those things are amazing. You got a scripture of the day, Big Dave?
I got it, man. I got it loaded in the barrel.
Loaded. Let's roll it.
Loaded in the chamber. It's ready to go. Tonight's verse of the day is, of course, it's out of the Passion Translation, of course, but it's 1 Peter 3:10, and I've just been thinking about integrity lately. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you say something, you do what you say you're going to do. If you put your word out there, you do it.
Yep.
If you say something, it's true what you're saying. Anyway, and so this is 1 Peter 3:10, and in the beginning of 11 says, "For the Scripture tells us, whoever wants to embrace true life and find beauty in each day must stop speaking evil, hurtful words, and never deceive in what they say."
So that means Dan has to stop talking bad about me.
Well, that's not all.
I don't not mean what I say though.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you mean it?
Oh man, stinger!
Dang. See, that hurts.
Stinger!
We're gonna have another session of the scripture of the day tonight.
Oh man, you're gonna need some healing waters after that one.
Yeah, Bubba, I'm not a veteran, but I need healing right now, sir. He just daggered me. No, I'm just kidding. We give each other heck all the time.
No, I just thought that was good, man. You know what I'm saying? Because so many people that they'll tell you something,
yeah,
and then no follow through, and then if it's a mistake, hey, come tell me about it. Let's talk about it. We'll work it out.
Sometimes people tell you something,
yeah,
that ain't even true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they'll be talking to you about something like they lived it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you come to find out, you're like, that never even happened.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're sitting here telling me that story like you lived it.
Like this. It's kind of like, and I'll tell you something else too. You see people do this too. Like when we went to the Greenbrier, you'll see people try to be somebody they're not because they're around a different group of folks.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I noticed with like our group. It's like everybody was themselves, man.
Yeah.
We're not putting we're not putting on airs. We're not trying to just make connections. We're not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's part of it because you affect more people when you make those connections.
Yeah.
But you don't change who you are in order to do that.
Yep.
You know?
I think that's
like I said, I tried to be rich. It didn't work real well, but
oh, we still need to get you a sports coat, Dan.
See, y'all made me be something I wasn't. I had to wear a sports coat.
Oh man, well that wasn't our rule.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We go in down there at the casino, and Ward's like, "That coat's a little big on you, there, bud." I told him, I said, "Yeah, I told him he could borrow mine again, He said, "I'll just rent one."
Yeah.
Hey, you got to get Ward to tell you about when we went to the movie premiere, the Christmas at the Greenbrier.
Yeah.
So we were invited to come down for it when they premiered it on Fox Nation. Ward was there.
Oh, okay.
And so I had no idea it was a black tie event, gentlemen.
Oh.
I showed up in a pair of hiking shoes, my Keen hiking shoes, khaki pants and a button-up shirt. And I looked around and there's people wearing tuxedos. And I'm like, I'm underdressed.
Oh,
so,
man.
Ended up getting a jacket from the concierge.
Yeah.
And Ward is still giving me.
He did it to you too, man.
Oh man.
Oh, so I'm not the only one who gave crap to about the concierge jacket. All right, good.
That's
Not
funny.
at all, brother. I feel your pain.
That's
Which,
awesome.
granted, that thing was for like a 64 wide chest, I believe.
It was big. Ward even told him. He sat there and he was like, "I think you're about a 48, maybe about a 46." He was giving him the size. He was sizing him up.
Dang,
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure me and Ward could have fit in that jacket.
Guarantee it. Oh,
No,
jeez.
I got a pretty good one. That's funny. No, but thank y'all again.
Yeah, no problem.
And if
So
there's any questions that anybody's got, man, just reach out to me. I'm here. Whenever you want to talk.
One of the things we want to hit on real quick before we go is the Freedom Ranch in Wyoming. Montana, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Montana.
So Freedom Ranch, the Harbaugh Foundation, great donor to Project Healing Waters. 20 weeks out of the year, we send 8 participants from across the country. Each region is allocated a certain number based on how many participants they have in that region. So West Virginia gets to send 4 a year. Okay,
wow.
You get to another region that has more participants, they get to send 8 a year. But it's 160 total throughout the year. Get to spend a week in Wise River, Montana, right on the Big Hole, and float, depending on flows. They'll float to Big Hole, Madison, Yellowstone. There's streams and lakes around the local area. We actually, our participants from West Virginia, their week is this week. They're actually out there right now.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, it's a pretty awesome time. We're seeing pictures. If you look on the Facebook page for a couple of the local West Virginia programs, you'll see some photos of they've been catching fish. So that Freedom Ranch for Heroes, you can look it up online too. They do a lot for the participants in our programs. We wouldn't be able to have the program to do without the Harbaugh Foundation giving us that opportunity. It's epic, man. I mean, you're talking middle of the mountains. You're nestled in a big valley. The Big Hole's running right behind you. You sit on a deck, overlook the river, and you take it all in. You take a deep breath, and you know things are going to be okay. You know, you want to talk about a place of healing. That's a place of healing.
Oh, I can imagine. I've seen some pictures, man. That's on my bucket list to get out there.
Oh, it's
sure.
beautiful.
Oh yeah, y'all ever want to go out there? Let me know. There's not right there in that area. There's great fisheries all around. There's a couple places to stay. There's excellent fishing out there. Opportunities. The only difference between that and West Virginia is, if you took West Virginia and you grab West Virginia by the sides and you spread West Virginia apart, we have more landmass than Montana. Did y'all know that? Because we have so many mountains and hills and stuff.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, wow.
And they're all pushed together.
I didn't realize
when
that.
you go out west, you can't be on one drainage to another in less than an hour in most places.
Yeah.
Because the mountains are apart.
That makes sense.
So in West Virginia, you get a storm moves in and it hits Allegheny Mountain, like right there above Thornwood.
Mm-hmm.
And the rain holds up on the Potomac side. The Potomac drainage is muddy. The Greenbrier drainage is clear.
Yeah.
So guess what we fish?
Right.
That's the only thing about out there that I don't like. If that drainage is muddy, then you got a little bit of travel to get to the next watershed. But once you're there, you can fish all day. It don't matter.
Yeah, that's true.
Just a little bit more of a drive.
Yeah.
But God, the scenery, the drive is worth it.
Out there, we don't.
Yeah.
You cut
Freedom
out
Ranch,
there, Dan. What'd you say?
Wise River, Montana. Wise River dumps into the Big Hole, and don't overlook the Wise River. Just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually one of my questions. I was thinking on there just a minute ago, like, do you guys offer other opportunities? Like, say I'm part of your organization, whatever, and I wanted to go Colorado and fish. Is that something you can link up with the chapter out in Colorado and get the guys out there? Or?
Yes. So we do trip swaps. So like that Thornwood trip, regions around us send folks to West Virginia. We send folks from West Virginia to the surrounding states. Same thing with the West. Now that particular outing at Freedom Ranch for Heroes, that was 20 weeks. That's our trip of a lifetime.
Sure.
So to speak. That's like the top tier type of a trip. So
Yeah.
those trips are given out on a national. There's a nomination process for that, in which local program leads nominate participants. Regional coordinators send nominations to national. National hooks them up with the flights and everything and sends them out. With other outings, like say personally you wanted to go out to Colorado and you wanted to fish while you was out there, yeah, we hook you up with the local program.
Okay.
Get you the info and strings and places to fish. And if they're having an outing or an event, sometimes we've even had volunteers go out there and help an event.
Okay.
So it's one big community, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Man, well, we really appreciate you coming on tonight, man. I mean, it's been an awesome time having you here in the history and the mission statement behind Project Healing Waters. And, we've really enjoyed talking to you, brother.
Oh, I've really enjoyed the time. Y'all are hilarious, by the way. It's been a good,
that's one of the things that people like listening to the show is because of the banter that we have towards each other and with each other, the kind of camaraderie that we have. I mean,
brothers, man. It's brothers. Yeah.
You're right.
That's it.
That's awesome.
Well,
Bubba,
that's what we're doing our programs, brother. So I really appreciate the time.
For
Thank y'all
sure.
so
Yeah,
much.
we appreciate you so much, Bubba. Thanks for enlightening us a little bit more on the whole organization and it was great to learn more about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. We'll see you soon, brother.
Sounds good. We'll see you.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you all again for listening tonight on the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls. Be sure to check us out on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. So we're on about 18 other different networks. Check us out on Facebook. This live feed will be up right after we're done, and it'll stay up for the entirety of our page, so you can view it, share it, do whatever you want. We also have a link that's linked into the page, so you can go right to Project Healing Waters and read more about that, share it with your friends. And if there's a veteran that that is struggling with some things, or just wants to get out and hunt and fish because they don't have any property, they don't have the opportunities, get them in touch with Bubba Holt there at Project Healing Waters, and he can get them taken care of. So thanks again, guys, for listening tonight and watching us on Facebook. You all have a good evening. This segment of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by AMG Network Hosting, LLC, a national independent agent for most major telecommunication service providers. If your business is in need of internet, phones, credit card processing, let AMG Hosting help you compare options. They work with over 100 national carriers, and they can help you choose the best option for your needs. Our independence means we are loyal to our customers, not a brand or a company. Call us today at 304-608-3653 or visit us at amgnhconsulting.com. amgnhconsulting.com. Phone number again is 304-608-3653. AMG Network Hosting, LLC.